Hey, 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 good people. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Woo! Y'all, it's been a day. I had planned all this elaborate stuff, but I'm learning to grow with the flow. You heard it here first. But anywho, welcome if you're here for the first time, and welcome back if you are returning. And I just want to say I love you. I want to say you are amazing. When I say amazing, I mean, I know we talk about, I've said it before, that 1% of the population controls all the wealth. That doesn't make them grand. It just makes them controlling, right? But if you are returning here, you are in the 1% of love, of knowing, of being. If you're returning here, I'm telling you, it's an amazing thing. And you're amazing. You are powerful. You are infinite. Infinitely supported, infinitely supplied. You're magical. This is so much, y'all. Ooh, the universe been universing, okay? Downloading, all of that. The synchronicities are just off the chain. But anywho, if you're here for the first time, I am Jazzy J, and I say Jazz love, Jazz do it, Jazz on the journey, and always, and I do mean always, remember in life to jazz as you see it. And the reason I love the musical genre of jazz is because it has regular patterns. Because we get in these regular patterns, and then it is infused with forceful and chaotic notes. See, and it's all done in improvisation and adaptability. That's amazing, y'all, because when it comes out, it sounds like a harmonious, melodious sound that everybody loves. And it's just like life, because we got our regular patterns. I call them codes. But then here comes this forceful, chaotic note. And that's the thing about jazz players. They don't stop playing. See, in other genres, it may be like, man, you missed the note. You did this. You played it wrong. You did. But in jazz players keep playing. And that's why you got the jazz on the journey, baby. And we're here because I was in a regular pattern. And forceful, chaotic notes came in, and I had to adapt. I had to improvise. And after all of that, I asked God, what is this? What are we doing? Why are we here? So let's get into it. So before I start, you know what I say is, do you see okay? Do you see okay? This represents everyone on the planet has this, a circumference of knowledge. Do you see okay? So in this space is everything that you trust, everything that you know, everything you have faith in, everything you believe, and it's right there in the word. If you believe the lie, I'm telling you, if you believe the lie, you will live a life of trauma and drama. Now, I'm about to do a deep dive. We in the yellow submarine. We've been in the yellow submarine, but we going deeper. And I'm going to tell y'all about some of the synchronicities that happened this week. That was so amazing. But if you're here for the first time, I would advise you to go back and look at previous videos where I have gone through step by step on some things that I'm just going to brush over tonight. My YouTube channel is Jazzy J, Jazz Love. I keep saying I'm going to put it in the comments, but Y'all know how it is. That'll be going on. But I'm going to get to it. But go over there and check it out. And I also share these videos once, you know, because Facebook don't let you keep your lives. So you download them. I put them over there on YouTube. And then I'll post them back in my group. And that is JAUSI Land, the Transformational Leadership Coaching Hub. Go on over there and join over there. It's absolutely free. Go on over there and join. And you can see them over there as well. But let's get into it, y'all. So the first synchronicity. Last week we talked about likeness and the likeness and the image. Right? So I will go over this because this is very key to what we're talking about in the grand game of life, right? So I'm going to talk about the one that we're told or sold when we come here. I'm going to talk about the program game that they give us, and then I'm going to go deep into the game and how it's really played. Okay, so before I get into that, when I found this out, I was actually amazed myself. But the question is energy and electricity the same thing? Now, I thought energy and electricity was the same thing, but they're not. Energy and electricity are closely related, but they are not the same thing. Electricity is one specific form or source. Energy is the ability to cause change or perform tasks. And I say this all the time. I hope you all are taking notes. So, electricity, power, is one specific form or source. And energy is the ability to cause change or perform tasks. So I'm going to make it live for you later, okay? So, write that down. Keep that in your mind. So, the grand game of life that we are told and sold when we get here as these little babies right here, okay? You, depending on what household you grew up in and what deity that household serves, that's who you told was God. If you're Christian, it was Jesus. If you are a Muslim, it was Muhammad. If you're a Buddhist, it was Buddha, so on and so forth, right? Now, I'm speaking from Christianity because that's the deity that I was told. Okay, and sold. So, in Christianity, we believe that there's a God and that he incarnated in human form as Yeshua, mostly called Jesus, and that he came here to save everybody. He gave his life to save us. And we study the Bible, the King James Version. And in that, I'm just doing a broad overview. And that story on how it's told, the God has a equal that is demonic, that is, fighting him, and God is a gender. Okay, God has given us commandments, and you come to earth to follow his commands. And you have to battle against this demonic force, demonic spirits that are against you. And when you sin, You say, you have to say I'm sorry and do penance and all of this, and you have to go to church every Sunday and pay tithes, and you have to be dipped in water, baptized, and just a lot of things that you have to do, right? But that's the biggest thing. And if you don't do all the things and do them right, then you're going to hell forever. Okay? That was the forceful, chaotic note that came in on me when I was 12 years young. That I was like, what? Forever? Ever? You can't never get out. Okay. So that is the, and y'all let me know if I'm missing anything, because it's all these things you have to do, you know, or that you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to swear or cuss. You're not supposed to fornicate, have sex outside of marriage. You're not supposed to drink and smoke and gamble and, you know, eat certain food. You're not supposed to do a lot of stuff, okay? So there's a lot of knotting in there, right? And you do all of these things and you get to go to heaven. But if you don't do the things and you don't live the life by the commandments, then you go to hell forever. Okay. So that's in a nutshell basically what I was given. And then inside of that game, even, and I could take Christianity, even in Christianity, you got all these pockets of, you know, you got the Baptists, you got the Lutheran, you got the Seventh-day Adventists, you got the Kojic, you got all these different fragments. They're supposed to be the same thing, right? And all of them got their little different. You got Foursquare. You got, you got all these different things that all of them do, you know, specifically. And if you don't, it's like if you don't speak in tongues, you ain't really saved. If you ain't been baptized, you ain't really saved. If you don't fall out when the pastor lay the hands on you, you ain't saved. You know, it's just all these things that, like, if you don't do, you ain't really saved. That's what I was told. You know, I don't know about you, but I'm just talking that this is what I was indoctrinated to as a young child, and indoctrinated to believe. And I believed it. And so when I was asked one day about what are you going to do when you die, and the inference in this one, because the question was asked by a person that was coded Jehovah's Witness, it was about this 144,000. So I'm like, wait a minute now. Now I was raised Catholic with a little dash of Baptist on the side, but it's like, I'm like, 144,000. So it was like, if you weren't part of this 144,000, I don't care what you do, you going to hell. So that kind of messed me up, y'all. So had a traumatic experience behind that, and I had a interaction with spirit, with the true spirit of God. And in that interaction, I said, I want to know. Not I want to believe, I want to know. K-N-O-W. I want to know what this life is. I want to know what we're doing here. I want to know why we're here, what's happening, what's going on. Tell me something. And from 12 years young to this day, Spirit has been answering that prayer of a 12 years young child. Okay, so that's where we are today. Now, I'm going to briefly, and I use King James and several other texts. The first thing, you know, I would say about this book, it says in this book to study to show thyself approved. Okay. So you can start here. I started here. And I was super duper slave, y'all. I mean, super duper slave. It was like every time the church doors open, I was there. I was taking notes. I read the Bible, the King James Version, 3 times in its entirety. But studying to show myself approved took me further. So if you are studying this book, like it says, first of all, you should do some research on King James and learn how this book came about. You should know about we should be able to have a conversation about the Nicene Council. We should be able to have a conversation about the Bibles that predate this Bible. We should be able to have a conversation about the Apocrypha and the books that were taken out of this Bible. We should be able to have some deep conversation. But I have had conversation with Christians and, it's like, oh yeah, I got to study some more. Or, oh, I ain't got the 66. I don't need the 88. It's like these blanket, and I'm talking about some people that, it was like, you have to come out of the spiritual closet. It's like, and I'm not, I am not, because I know what all this is. I know how we feel, and I'm just saying that because the term "come out of the closet" is used for people who come out as being homosexual, and I know that is a tremendous for some people. Not everybody had them issues. They come out and they out and they don't care who, what, why, and I ain't mad because I used to hang out with with that demographic, and I had the best time of my life. They are the realest people, but there are people who struggle, who knows that their family wouldn't approve, and they're just it's a struggle. So I wasn't trying to be facetious with that when I said come out of the spiritual closet, because I felt that pressure of coming out and saying, when people's like, "Whoo, thank you, Jesus. Jesus, Jesus is my Lord and God." Okay. Jesus in my world is an ascended master, not my God. In my world, I'm God, you God, everything we looking at God. Not just Jesus. Jesus was an ascended master, and we have had ascended masters all the way through time. I love to teach with movies. And I'm gonna get better about the Matrix, but even in the Matrix, they tell you, if you watch the trilogy, the last one, where Neo makes it to the architect, and he makes a decision to save Trinity, right? And he goes back, when he gets back to the ship, and he tells Morpheus, right? And he says, the one wasn't never supposed to change anything. And Morpheus was like, what? What do you mean? So Morpheus, he fucked up by that. He was like, well, you said it yourself. When the one made it to this level, the prophecy that the war was supposed to be over. So at that time, Morpheus is thrown. That's a forceful note, a chaotic note that came in for him, because the oracle told him he was going to find the one, right? And I told you in the movie, we're all the one. Morpheus was the one who was going to find the one. Trinity was the one who was going to be the partner to the one. You know, so everybody has their role to play. We're all pieces of this grand puzzle, and we're all playing this game. So nothing happens. They're still in the fight. They still got this going on. But it is when Neo stops the machines. And I'm getting back. I ain't got off. I'm getting back. When he stops those machines and he wakes up in the train station. And I'm saying this is because these are levels in the game that we go to. And it's always love that brings us back. Because if you know the trilogy, Trinity about to blow away the Merovingian, and his girl says she'll do it. She loves him. And so he allows them to go, the train man, and to go get Neo. Love is what brought him back. Love is what brought him back in the first one. When she said, I'm not scared anymore, Neo. You can't die. Right? When he got shot up by Smith. So all of this stuff it's the same thing. You're the one. So when Neo says the Morpheus, the one wasn't supposed to change anything. See, that's the key. Jesus was one of the ones. Yeshua was a one. And he's a very important one because he's in the duality of Yeshua and Lucifer. That's duality. But I'll get back to that. If you see these movies, in the end, the virus that is Smith, the virus that is going on right now today in people. So Smith is taking over everybody. Smith is out of control. Just like today, folk out of control. We got a lot of Smiths running around, right? And Neo fights. He fights for his people. And what saves them is that he surrendered all. He allowed himself. He kept fighting and he allowed himself to be consumed by Smith. And because he did that, the love of his inner being overrode the code of the virus and destroyed all the Smiths. And everybody was able to come back to themselves. Now, I don't know why Spirit got me going through this movie, but this was one of the synchronicities that happened to me this week, right? I watched a lot of podcasts, and I watched this podcast. I don't even know the name of it. It just came up on my feed, right? But it intrigued me because it said 20 Christians versus one New Ager. I was like, what? So I clicked on it, and it's a doctor, this lady, she hosts the show. And so the New Ager, there were 20 Christians, and the New Ager was giving these prompts. And then people would raise their hand out of the 20, and they would come sit in these 4 or 5 chairs, and they would have a discussion. So it was about really what she believed, tarot cards, crystals, things that hold energy, that are tools, right? And y'all, I watched this thing. I watched this video and I was just at a loss for words. I was like, wow. Because I saw and heard so much codes. I mean, embedded, deeply embedded codes. And these women were from young to seasoned. And the young lady, she held her own, but saying certain things, she didn't know how to answer some things. Like I would answer it, but she didn't know how to answer it. She had some issues with the God of the Bible, and I get it. I get that. But y'all, for me, it was like Spirit was showing me how coded we are, how embedded the codes are, and I break down because how your brain and how your mind work, because if you don't know how it works, you don't even know you coded. That's why it's a grand game. And that's why it's important for you to know that your brain is not equal to your mind. That's why it's important for you to know that we exist on 3 planes: the spiritual, the physical, and the mental. And the mental is the most important. And with that, I'm going to read to you out of the Kabbalah, okay? And this is chapter 7, the all in all. Okay? The Hermetic teachings are to the effect that the all is immanent in every part, particle, unit, or combination within the universe. I'm going to say that again. The Hermetic teachings are to the effect that the all, and that's in all caps, is immanent in its universe and in every part, every particle, every unit, or every combination within the universe. Now, I wanted to say that to you and read that to you because I've said it before. Everything is God. We exist in the imagination of God. And I know how it feels to say, I'm God. Because you're afraid to say it because that's the coding. And it's not, I'm God, like bow down to me and all this kind of stuff. It ain't that. It's that you are a fractal individuation energy of the one power source that created all things. So when we read in the first book of Genesis, chapter 1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. No hell, just heavens and the earth. The earth is a school. We come here to expand, to elevate, and to evolve in this third dimension. Why? So we can graduate and go to other dimensions, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth, the ninth, the 10th. And when you look at earth, do you think this is the best God could do? Earth is a school. Okay? So it says the earth was without form and void. Without form, there was no form. Close your eyes. You see God. Without form. What's my little stick? I like my little stick. Oh, here you go. I like this little stick. Teach it. Yeah. It's just like, I got this light. I got some lighting right here. I do not see the power. I see the energy, the fractal energy of the power. The source that makes this light shine. But the source is invisible to me. It's secret to me. It's just like you see my form. The only reason that you can kind of discern what I'm about is because I'm speaking. Other than that, I would be void. Because see, when people don't speak, you don't know what they're thinking. Some people think they know what you're thinking, but you don't know what folks thinking. And see, in duality, human being. Human is physical, being is spiritual. You don't see my spirit. You can feel it, but you don't see it. It's invisible. It's concealed. Secret. Okay? Now I hope y'all picking up what I'm putting down. And darkness was over the face of the deep. When you close your eyes, you see the darkness that's over the face, because you're the face of God. I'm the face of God. Everything is the face of God, vibrating at various levels of consciousness. This phone I'm looking into is God. This lighting that I have is God. This fan I got on is God. Vibrating at different levels of consciousness. Now the beings with the highest level of consciousness in the third dimension are galactic beings, human beings, animal beings, and plant beings. That's why your scripture tells you that God is omnipresent. God is everywhere. Why? Because God is everything. Hello. Every particle, every part, every unit, or combination within the universe. And why does it say combination? Because we live in duality. Your conscious and subconscious mind, that's duality. Male and female, that's duality. Divine masculine, divine feminine is duality. North and south is duality. Hot and cold is duality. Lie and the truth is duality. Good and bad is duality. And see, it's all God. See, that's what you ain't being told. That part right there. Because you want to put people in hell. You're going to bust hell wide open. You're going to lie. Hell is just separation from God. Hell is not knowing you God. It's people walking around here right here on this earth that's in hell. Every single day. They wake up in hell. They live in hell. They do a whole bunch of stuff not to go to hell, but they live in it. Every day. Why? That's the big question. Why? But we're going to answer that. Hold on. We got a jazz note coming. Okay? And this is why this book said, don't make no graven images. Why? Because spirit is spirit. It's not a gender. It's not a man. It is the combination of the masculine, the divine masculine and divine feminine energies that come into wholeness. That's why spirituality talks about the third eye. When Yeshua hung on the cross between two thieves. And I said it before because I'm going to do a whole series on how you fearfully and wonderfully made. They just tell you that. Oh my God. Y'all. If you knew how fearfully and wonderfully made that you are. How there's a pineal gland in your brain that looks like the throne. It looks like a cross. Christ was hung on the cross at Golgotha, which means the skull. Between the right and left brain hemispheres. The right masculine, the left feminine energy. Between the two thieves. Because you think you seeing something and you see less than 0.0035% of what's actually going on. And it's all scientific. Please go and do your research on what I'm saying. Go to the scientists. Go research, and I've said it before. Everything I'm talking about is a rabbit hole. But what God has purposed me with, my fractal energy, is just to give you the broad overview. And then you could go rabbit holing on any one of the subjects. Because we're all pieces. We're all pieces to the puzzle. We don't know everything. We are all persons. This light. Then God said, let there be light. See, we were called in. We are light. Everything that was called in was light. And it goes through that. As you read through the scriptures, it goes through the sun, the per sun. That's what they did with Yeshua. They capped you. I'm a math major. Percent per 100. You a per sun. S-U-N. Hello, somebody. So when we know we're the light, I know we get up at church, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. But you can't let it shine if you don't know you're God. And see that all of this is a game, but it is something that they give you for control. They make you feel guilty and ashamed if you cut somebody out. They don't preach the Jesus that cussed the what they call them, the money changers in the church. They don't preach the Jesus. It's over there in the Gospels when Jesus was going off on the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And one of them said, "Teacher, when you say these things, you insult us." And read the next scripture. He kept going. He didn't say, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Wait, let me change what I said. I meant this." He wasn't trying to make a mistake. He kept going in. See, they don't preach that Jesus. It's a reason they don't preach. What would Jesus do? Cuss your ass out. He even was going off on the disciples. How long I'm going to have to fool up with y'all? The ones who were with them. And they running around because it was just a power trip for them. That's why Judas did what he did. Well, I'm going to get him there. He taking too long for me. I want to be sitting up there while he on the throne. I'm going to be sitting right there next to him. It was all about a power trip. And that's what I was talking about with the 1%. Got power, but tripping. That's all, power trip. You can have all the money, all the stuff in the world, and in here, be in hell with all your pretty stuff. I said it before. The 13th disciple. Jesus said, "Sell all that you have and come follow me." You going with that. I see how y'all moving. Y'all walking, got to go rent donkeys and shit. No, I'm not. I got a whole Porsche chariot sitting over here. I'm laying on goose down pillows and I got servants. No. Mm-hmm. I ain't about to do that. Because you believe that money gives you power. Now, in this matrix, you can make some moves, but look at the people who are making the moves. Look at these people. The P. Diddy's, the Epstein's, I can call some more names. But because you watch news. I don't watch news because ain't nothing they got going on. It's all keeping you in fight or flight. Constant negative news, talking about it, giving life to it. If everybody concentrated and focused on who they are and what they're supposed to be doing here, and not all the distractions from the external, baby, you would be in heaven right here. Right here. Because there are people living in heaven right here. I'm one of them. I'm in heaven, baby. I get up in the morning when I finish sleeping. I'm able to meditate and just receive these amazing downloads. I'm able to be in nature and garden. I'm able to speak to young people. I love my life. I'm able to go where I want to go do whatever I need to do. But it wasn't always like that. Because I was worried about out here what people thought, how they felt about what I was doing. Trying to be a certain way, look a certain way, live up to the standards of this God of the Bible. You won't cuss a joke out and I do believe in a Holy Ghost filled, fire, baptized, cussing out. Yeah. Yeah. You could throw all the scripture at me that you want to. And even those who say, well, I ain't never cussing, I ain't never did this, and I ain't never drank no alcohol, and I ain't never fornicate, all that, whatever. Because your Bible said if you did it in your mind, if you thought it, people, we live in the mind of God. If you thought it, it's just like you done it. Isn't it something? You cannot cheat at this game. It's built in. Okay? So, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Like, you're the face. We're all the elements. Our bodies are 60 to 80% water. Okay? Then God said, let there be light. We're the light that was called in. Everything you see is the light that was called in. The sun, the moon, the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, the beasts of the field, all the fruit, the vegetation, everything, male and female. That's the light that was called in. That's another thing that they programmed. Oh, the darkness is bad. We come from darkness. We come from darkness. And we are the light. So when the light was called in, the two nature dualities, you know, it talks about the trees represent that in the garden. The tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So I told you the two natures that you could take on is Yeshua and Lucifer. Lucifer's name means son of the morning, bright and morning star, a created being by God. See, that's something that you are, that's another program that they have you believe, because they preach the Bible to you like that. So I read the Bible esoterically, not exoterically. Okay? And I've gone over those definitions. So esoteric is an inner circle, inner understanding, a specialized knowledge of the Bible. Exoterically is, let me say it the way they say it. I don't know. Suitable for or communicated to the general public. General. See, when you know that you're a being, when you know that you're a fractal energy of God, you ain't general no more. External or belonging to an outer circle. It referred to writings or teachings designed for the public. Designed. This right here is designed for you. Designed for the public consumption, as opposed to esoteric doctrines, which were hidden and reserved only for the specially initiated inner circle. See, when I just talked to a group of children, had a young man, 14 years young, he's talking about how he been going to church since he was 1, and every time I reference it's nothing. Couldn't get nothing. I said, what story is that? What story does this sound like? Or this scenario sound like? Nothing. So you've been going somewhere for 13 years and you got nothing. See, so when you don't study to show thyself approved, you just go along. You just go along with somebody else's interpretation. And this was designed for the general public. Exoteric, external. So, the other thing that happened to me that was synchronistic, I was coming in the kitchen to cook, and my husband had watched the new Avatar movie. So I said, was it good? He was like, yeah, you would really, really enjoy it. You would really enjoy it. So my game plan was to watch it because I was doing my hair. That's what I was doing my hair. So when I do my hair, I watch a movie. And so I said, well, I want to sit down and watch it. So while I'm cooking, I'm going to put on something else. So Snow White came up. And last week, I talked about the image and likeness. How we are the reflections of God, right? Talked about that. Because we were over here where it says, then God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. And so image, a copy, likeness or statue, a picture or mental idea. We are the mental idea of God. It shares this root with the word imitate. So when it says image, we are to imitate God, right? In the physical realm. God is spirit, but now we're physical. We have form. Remember it said the earth was without form? Now we have form. My spiritual being has form that you see, right? Physical likeness, piece of art. I like that. We are the piece of art. Just think of the Michelangelos, the Da Vinci's, the Cezanne. Those artists that we love to talk about, millions, and there's so many artists out there now. But what they create, a reflection in a mirror, as well as a mental concept or idea. You see, that's why you're the face of God. Because what you are conditioned to believe is that Yeshua is God. And, well, the Bible gives a description of him that most people got a blonde head, blue-eyed, white Jesus hanging up. But the Bible describes Yeshua as having bronze skin and hair like wool. Head, clue. I'm just saying. Just think about that. Just that. How the Bible describes Yeshua and what most people have hanging up on their wall. The art of Da Vinci. Just think about that. Just that one little aspect. And then say how you can't decode it. Okay? And then likeness. Okay. Greek and Hebrew word, both signifying a form, model, or resemblance. The Hebrew word demut, to be like, compare, resemble, or the Greek word homeo, to make like or assimilate. Okay? Likeness. So, this is the other thing. So I turned on Snow White. And I told you all that they put the truth in these movies. So I finished what I was doing in the kitchen. I came in and I watched Snow White, the 2025, I think it's 2020 Disney. Yeah, that whole movie is what I'm talking about. It talks about this, it shows how this little girl is raised in this kingdom. And in this kingdom, everybody is doing what they love to do. And they're sharing with everybody else. She's raised, she's told she's brave, courageous, trustworthy, honorable, and all this stuff by her parents. So, you know, and we'll just say that's the divine masculine and divine feminine energies. Then here comes, after her mother transitions, goes back to the spiritual realm, so it's her and her father. And this woman comes, beautiful woman, befriends, they get married, but she's evil, the evil queen. So she sends the father off to war, just spewing all of this constant negative news about how the kingdom has to protect itself and how people are going to descend on the kingdom. Sound familiar? People ain't supposed to be here, you know, coming to take over your kingdom. So the father goes off and doesn't come back. So when he doesn't come back, she keeps Snow White in the palace like a maid, like a servant. And all of the people that were doing the things that they loved, the farmers, the bakers, the shoemakers, the everybody, she makes them go into the army, get into the army. So as a result, the kingdom goes down, the people are hungry, just chaos. So Snow White walks up on this guy that one day in the kitchen, and he's stealing potatoes. And so she's saying, you can't steal those. That's stealing. That's wrong. And he was like, get you some. The people are starving. There's plenty of potatoes here, and you know. So he's going off on her. And she said, well, I'm sure if you ask the queen, she'll give them to you. He was like, tuh. So he steals the potatoes. She goes to talk to the queen. And the queen is like, no, she's not giving them anything. These people are traitors and they deserve to be hung, killed, whatever. Right? So Snow White kind of says, you know, well, that's not right. We need to, you know, make sure everybody has enough to eat and this, you know. And so Queen like, oh, okay, I see you getting a little too big for your britches. So she tells her guardsman, he said, let her go out to the apple fields and pick them apples. And when she out there, kill her. And she said, bring her heart back in this box. So y'all, this way it get good, because I'm talking about how life happens. Even of who we are when we come here. I said this before, every child that's born is born into a lineage as a code disruptor. To make it, if the code is good code, it is to elevate that code and evolve it to the next level. But if it's not, it is to rewrite. That child is here to rewrite the code, to disrupt the code that's in the family lineage, right? So Snow White had this great code. She was, but in that, she believed that everybody was good. That's how she grew up. Everybody was good. Everybody, helped each other, did for each other. That's how she grew up. So now she's, I'm assuming, teenager, 20, I think they said 27 years old. So now she's like, we need to make sure we're doing this. So the queen kill her. But the queen is going to the mirror, y'all. And this spoke to me. It's just like when you look in the mirror. The queen is going to the mirror and saying, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Now, in this movie, the mirror is talking. And they say, yeah, it's one fairer than you, queen. You look good and everything, but Snow White is the fairest in the kingdom. She's like, no. I'm the fairest. So the queen, the mirror that's talking to the so-called evil queen is your subconscious. Your subconscious mind that is always talking to you. It's talking to you right now while I'm talking to you. It's saying Janelle crazy as hell. She done lost her mind. Da-da-da-da-da. All that, because I'm not talking to you inside of this. Your circumference of knowledge. I'm out here. If this your circumference of knowledge, I'm out here. So because your brain has nothing to connect it to, what I'm saying, that no neurological pathways of your brain can connect to what I'm saying. So now, your subconscious mind goes to autopilot. Because it's programmed and conditioned to believe a certain thing. To believe what you've been told for 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years, I don't know. So because you've been told it and the code is embedded now I'm crazy. Now I don't know what's going on. And that's the way they planned it, y'all. Because they know how you work. Is it my time? Y'all, still don't have my time, so I didn't want to go over tonight. Because I almost went 2 hours last time. But I think my husband knocking on the door. So, but yeah. That's why. That's why you say I'm cray-cray, even though I'm cosmic. Because it is. And because your brain works like autocorrect, because it's programmed to believe a thing. And because the powers that be know how you work, they don't have to do nothing or say nothing. And the reason why I can't tell you nothing is because you God. So you have to see it. It's just like Morpheus said when he took Neo to see the Oracle. He said, what she said is for you. I don't need to know nothing. When he came out, matter of fact, when he was going in, he said, I can only show you the door. You got to walk through it. When Neo went in the kitchen, she directed him to the side. Know thyself. See, when you know thyself, you will know God. You will know the plans that Spirit has for you. because you came here with a soul contract. You would know that. The first commandment, you will serve no other God before you. You will not let another person, a thing, or anything serve. You will not serve it before you serve yourself. See, and that was it in Snow White. True love's kiss was you kissing you, baby. It was just shown in the divine, the two energies. I'm gonna do the last part, so y'all, I'm gonna put a pin in it right here, cause I've been in here an hour. Put a pin in it, but just understand, y'all, it was deep. Oh my God! So next week, I'm gonna start with the mirror and your subconscious mind talking to you about you ain't the fairest. Then you become the hater on the fairest. On some, not the fairest. See, because you're the only one in the game. So you become the hater on somebody that's playing their game. That's in the game. That is graduated from the IPC to the NPC to the strategist. Still working to be the master and then the ascended master. But you hate on them because you looking in the mirror telling you ain't the fairest. But you ain't the fairest because you don't know you God. And can't nobody tell you God. Because you got to know you God. But the code. You got to rewrite the code, baby. So, I'm going to end it there. And y'all, I got something coming for subscribers. I said it last week. It's coming, y'all. We're gonna be. I'm in this game too, y'all. Everything, even me being public. Because at first I was just in my group. No, I was just subscriber only. The Spirit's like, no, you need to be public. And now Spirit is like, this one day a week ain't working. I need you to be in there some more. So all of this is coming. So I'll be coming on Mondays with subscriber only. Just Q&As, just talking. If y'all want to talk. Now if y'all want to talk, that's fine. Because I get it. But ask questions, Tuesdays. Transformation Tuesdays, Thursdays, Lunch and Learn, and Fridays, I'll do a Q&A. It'll be public, but it'll just be a question from whoever asked the first question, and we'll go through that and talk about that, and then that'll be it on Friday, and then I see y'all again for the masterclass on Sunday. So that's the schedule. It's coming. But it's your girl Jazzy J, and I want to say Jazz love, Jazz do it, Jazz on the journey, and always. Whew. And I do mean always. Remember in life to jazz as you see it, loves. Mwah! Good night, y'all.